So this is a Swift Safari 535. Just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. In front of the van you've got your jockey wheel, hitch and handbrake. We'll demonstrate these to you in person here on site. In the front locker you've got your two gas bottle tie downs and your regulator up on the bulkhead. Then you've got your gas pipe work coming into the front of the bottle here. The pipe work that comes into the front of the bottle is a reverse thread fitment, so you need to turn it the opposite way to a standard gas fitment for it to fit into the bottle. On top of the bottle you've got your gas on-off valve, so you've got open and closed, so you've got open and closed depending on which way you want to go with it. On the regulator here you'll see you've got two sides for the gas pipe work to come out, so you can actually have a gas, so it's actually called a gas changeover valve. So if you wanted to have two bottles connected with two gas regulators, two bits of gas pipe work, then you can actually use this valve here in the centre to change over the supply of gas from either side of the bottles. Coming down the side of the van, you've got your battery box, you see your motor mover controls in there, and you've also got your mains power lead coming to the side of the van from the power on site. Your 12 volt battery, the 12 volt battery is very simply there for the 12 volt systems on board the caravan, and they're quick release connection, style connection on top. And then you've got your motor mover power switch in the back here, and also for your motor mover itself. Two fridge vents are very simply there to allow the hot air at the back of the fridge unit to take some cool air in. Behind one of those is also a gas flue for when the fridge is running on gas. You've then got your motor mover on your wheel nut, so it's a Power Touch Freedom motor mover, and then you've got your, which we'll demonstrate here on site, and we'll also torque wheel nuts prior to the caravan leaving site, so you can see they've been tightened correctly. Coming down the side of the van, you've got your water pump connection. You simply push down the blue trigger and pull back, and do the same to push it into the side of the van. You then got your pickup pipe that drops down inside the water and needs to be fully submerged in water prior to turning the pump on. You've then got your heating and hot water flue here, which works the same as a flue on the side of your house. And then you've got your two grey waste pipes where your waste water comes out the side of the van, so it goes in fresh air, and it'll come out down here. You have two bits of grey pipe that go into the larger diameter holes, and they'll drop down inside your waste master. Going back down the van further, you've got your storage locker for underneath the bed at the rear of the van, where you can access the storage. You can also access it from the inside of the caravan as well. Back of the van you'll see two wind down legs to stabilise the van while it's on site. You'd never lift the caravan with these legs, it could potentially damage the floor of the van. Side of the van here, you've then got your flush tank, so you open this up, you put 3.5 litres of water in here and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. Below that you've got your toilet waste cassette, so you open up the hole, just here, release it with the orange handle at the bottom and pull the cassette towards you. The orange neck here turns out 90 degrees so you can tip the waste away. The grey cap is a measure for your pink and your blue fluid. And on the back of the cassette you've got an orange pressure relief button, so when you tip the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. You'll put 1 litre of water in here and a cap full of the blue fluid. So in the cassette, like I said, you need to put 1 litre of water and a cap full of the blue fluid prior to use. Coming down the side of the van, wheels and motor mover again. You've got a storage locker for underneath the front seating area, and then you've got a barbecue gas point on the left hand side front here. And then you've got your last wind down leg, and there's another one of these on the opposite side of the van in the same place. Going on to the inside of the caravan now, I'll show you how the inside works. Above the door, as you come into the caravan, you've got your main power switch, so you've got power on. You've got your water pump run, your battery select, so you can change between the two batteries, and your view levels for the caravan. So essentially, if you want to use a leisure battery when you're on site, you'd need to hit the battery select, so you can go to the leisure battery and to the vehicle battery on this side as well. Once you've got the control panel turned on, you can come underneath the seat on the front right hand side of the van. You'll check that all your power switches are turned on the top right hand side here. The switch on the end here that says water heater is is actually your electric water heating for the caravan. So you'll need to have this switch on to allow the water to warm up on the 240 volt mains. Space heater main power switch is just the power to the control panel on the wall, which I'll show you in a moment, and you need to have your battery charger on so the 240 systems work on board the van, and the 12 volt systems. Then got your system shutdown here. System shutdown is so you can isolate all of the power inside of the van. At the bottom you've got your 12 volt fuses here for when you're running the caravan on 12 volts, and then you've got your 230 electric trip switches on the right hand side bottom. You test these by hitting the test switch, and if it drops down it means you have power coming into the caravan. If it stays in the upright position it means there is no mains power coming into the caravan from the site you're on. Also underneath here you'll see your motor mover control boxes, which you don't need to do anything with, but we'll demonstrate them while you're here on site. And on the inside of the door, you'll see on the left hand side your 12 volt fuses, and on the right hand side you'll see your mains 230 volt trip switches, or what each of those is for. Once you have made sure you've got power coming to the van, come underneath the bed at the rear of the caravan, lift the bed up, then in underneath the bed here you'll find a yellow drain down valve. So that yellow valve needs to be flat with the floor prior to filling the water system up. If that valve is upright and pointing towards the bottom of the seat, it will drain all the water out of the system onto the floor underneath the van. So flat with the floor, then you'll come over to every tap on board the caravan and you'll open all the taps up on the hot side of the water system. Once all of these taps are open on the hot side of the water system, you can actually then turn on the water pump above the door. That's where this button here comes in. Turn the pump on so the green light is on, and the water system will start filling up. Now when the water system is completely full, you'll have water running out of every tap continuously on board the van, and at that point you can shut all of the taps back off. Initially it is going to spit and splatter till it has got the air out of the system on board the van. Once you've got the air out of the system, you can warm the water up with that electric switch that's down there on the 240 mains, or you can warm the water up by gas. So on this control panel here, just inside the door, you have a dial here on the outside that you can turn around to the flame symbol. So essentially this little tab here needs to be pointing at the flame symbol. The gas system will then self-ignite on gas. If you want it to ignite on gas, you have a green light behind here, and if it fails to ignite, a red light will appear. You can control the water temperature of the caravan between 30 and 70 degrees of water temperature, depending on what you're wanting to do with the van. We do advise when you're showering on board the caravan that you use the gas as a boost, just due to the fact the electric side of the water heating won't warm it up quick enough for when you are showering, for instance, on board the van. Turn off the gas supply, turn it back to the off position on the right hand side here. Above that you have your 240 volt electric heating for the caravan. So the dial here on the outside again, you can spin round to the numbers on the side here, which is 500, 1000 or 2000. Now depending on what caravan site you're on will depend on what you set this to. Once you've selected the correct power source for what the caravan site you're on, you spin the dial here in the centre between 1 and 9 to control the temperature of the heater on electric. You can turn the heater back off by spinning it to the off position just here. On top of the heater on the top right hand side, you've got a dial here. For the gas operation, you spin it round to between 10 and 9, hold down the gas valve, and once it ignites on gas, you'll have your pilot lights in this window down in the screen below. Once it has ignited, you need to hold down the gas valve for a further 5 to 10 seconds, then you'll slowly be able to release the gas valve to control the temperature on gas, then spin the dial to the correct gas supply that you want the heating to warm up to. On the opposite side of the heater, just here, you actually have your options for the blown air heating. So around the caravan you'll see these little white vents, and that is where the heat is going to come out if you decide to use blown air heating, so it works a little bit like the heating in your car at that point. You've got a fan speed control on top here, again like you'd have in your car. The dot here is the heat coming out the front of the heater itself. The wave symbol on the left hand side is continuous blown air heating, so essentially at that point the heat will come out the vents around the caravan rather than the front of the heater. The A on the right hand side is automatic blown air, and it essentially cuts in and out with the thermostat on board the caravan. Next up we're going to go to the fridge. The fridge is quite simple to use, so you press the power button on the front here. The fridge will turn on. You'll see here that you've got 240 mains indicator for the power coming into the caravan. Then you can control the temperature of the fridge on the button on the right hand side. The higher you go with these blocks, the colder the fridge will be. Black button on the left hand side will change the power source you want to use. So at the moment you can see it's brought up a 12 volt battery, and the blue light here is flashing to say that there is no 12 volt supply coming to the fridge. Now the 12 volt supply is not the power supply from the caravan itself, it is the 12 volt supply from the car you are towing down the road with. You also have no temperature control on the 12 volt mode, as like I said it is just a cool box mode, but it just will essentially allow you to keep some bits in there while you're travelling down the road. If you want to use the freezer box on top, I would advise that you put some freezer blocks in there before you travel. Or some of the ice blocks in there to keep whatever you've got in there cool while you're travelling. You then got the gas mode. So the fridge will self-ignite on gas as long as the gas is turned on. If it fails to ignite on gas, it's going to flash the blue pilot light here at the bottom, which when it's solid means the fridge is ignited. And then if it fails to ignite, you'll have a 9 and a spanner symbol on the top right hand side here. Again, you can control the temperature of the fridge on gas or mains with the button on the right hand side, as you can see here. So the bars go up fully. You can turn the fridge off by pressing and holding the power supply in, and it will turn the fridge off. Microwave, hob, grill and oven do work very much the same as your household appliances, not much difference there at all. 240 electric ring at the back would need to be operated on 240 mains, and the rest of the hob, grill and oven is all gas operated. The last thing we go through in the caravan is the toilet system in the bathroom. So we'll come through the bathroom. The toilet has an electric flush on top, which, as you can see here, allows you to flush the toilet system. On the top left hand side here, you'll see a indicator that will illuminate red when the toilet waste cassette is completely full. The toilet seat itself turns for your convenience, as you can see. However, when you're removing the toilet waste cassette from the side of the caravan, you do need to make sure this toilet is pointing straight across the van as it is now. Then below the toilet, you'll see a grey waste handle. Now when you're using the loo, you're going to need to pull that handle towards us here, towards the shower area, to allow the waste into the cassette. And when you're not using the loo, it does need to be back in that central position to stop any smells coming back up inside the van. You will also need that grey handle in the central position to allow you to remove the toilet waste cassette from underneath the van. If it isn't in the centre and you manage to remove the toilet waste cassette, you will have more than likely damaged the cassette or the mechanism on top of the toilet, in the toilet cassette, or the toilet itself. So as I said, this is a Swift Safari 535. If you have any further questions on the van, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate your business, and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon. Thank you again. Bye bye.